I read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. He begins by talking about current techniques used to improve what businesses do and shows that this isn't as important or effective as knowing and expressing why you do what you do. He uses the golden circle throughout the book. This graphic shows the 3 things a company must know. These 3 things are what the company does, how the company does it, and why the company does what they do. Many companies are good at expressing the what and the how, but few know why they do what they do. He goes on to explain how expressing your why can develop trust of those around you, foster creativity, and create loyalty among customers. He finishes by explaining how companies and organizations must maintain this sense of why, especially as they grow, and the consequences of losing that why. The main EELP theme that was presented in this book was leading with technology and innovation. The notion of understanding the why applies to leading technology and innovation because when companies express the why, they develop a customer base. This is how loyalty is developed, like Apple and Southwest have done. He also talks about the positive consequences of everyone in the company understanding the why of the company. This leads to a more focused, successful, and often more trusting culture within the company. These ideas are critical to developing a successful business that is conducive to innovation. If the company's leaders do a good job of hiring people who believe what they believe, then they will have a successful company. One of the main points that I really resonated with was the idea that the universal craving to belong is the reason understanding the why is so important. It explains how relationships develop because people share common goals or interests, aka the why, with others or with businesses. One example is that Apple's interest in technology being aesthetically pleasing is something that many other people connect with. I really resonate with this because I put a lot of value on my relationships, and it's clear that in industry, this is how people foster their customer needs. The idea of the split, where companies fail because they lose their why, is another point that I really resonated with. This often happens as companies grow, and they are especially susceptible to this when they are first starting. While I have not been part of a company yet, I have experienced the split on past soccer teams and even in friend groups, often when people leave or are replaced by individuals who don't share the why of the group. One point that was confusing to me within the book was when Simon talks about the tipping point, which is when enough people buy a product to cause a snowball effect of more purchases. But his logic seems somewhat contradictory. He initially says that the goal of a business is not to sell to anyone who wants what you have, but instead to people who believe what you believe. He later says that if you get enough people to want your product, then the rest will follow. These two ideas seem to clash on the basis of the company's intentions. In Chapter 6, talks about our successes as humans deriving from our ability to come together and form cultures. I agree with this statement. However, his explanation of execution seems almost utopian and seems to overlook the inherent gaps in businesses that come from human error. Human error being that people can't always or don't always hire people that fit with the culture. What I mean by this is that it seems to be an impossible standard in the way that he portrays the ideal business. One of the main takeaways that I got from this book was that understanding manipulations are different from inspiration, in the sense that only inspiration will develop loyalty. This has been consistently shown with the failed manipulation techniques such as fear, promotions, and novelty. These are often just short-term solutions that aren't really effective for long-term success. The second is simple. It's important to recognize the role trust plays in creativity, innovation, and motivation of an organization. If there's trust within the company, then the workers will be much more willing to work hard, and they'll feel more comfortable taking risks that will hopefully lead to innovation. I personally would recommend this book to my peers because I think it represents a comprehensive understanding of how relationships are developed and how to maintain them. Simon does a very good job of giving examples and consequences of companies succeeding and failing at expressing their why.